Hi, this is Mark from the Wayback Group, and we're back in my office. So if you've been following the last few live shows, I've actually recently just got back from France. There's my motorhome on the driveway there, and I did do the last episode from the office. But this is kind of just impromptu. I wanted to kind of share a bit of news, just catch up with you in an informal way, show you a little bit about the process behind the live show and the work that I do. And so, yeah, where to begin? Well, look, here's my main desk. You probably recognise this from the other way around. So normally you'd be looking from over here and you'd see the background behind me. This is what it looks from my perspective like. And this is GIMP, the art. So what does GIMP stand for? Graphical image manipulation program or something like that. But basically it's open source software that I use. And so what we're looking at here is the template artwork for the live shows. And so episode 46 is the next one coming up, and this is the, let me just share this with you. So this is my to-do list getting ready for tomorrow's live show. So what have I got on the list? I've got new live show artwork, update the live show page, choose episode 46 questions, prep episode 46 slides, set up the episode 46 artwork, prep the live stream, add the live show to thezaretti.com, sync, and then this is separate work, so this is what I'm going to be doing this evening after I've done all that, is sync the book drafts, move to NAS, back up and do some work. So that's referring to the 4 books that I'm working on. The work still continues. And the last point, by the way, where it says do some work, what that means is I'm referring to the work on the inside, and I might talk about that in a bit actually. But I just wanted to share this. This is a laptop that someone had abandoned. Well, a good friend of mine had given up on it because they'd lost the power pack for it. And I thought, well, I said to them, if you're not using it, I'll give it a good home. And it's an HP EliteBook, and maybe you can help me with this, because what I've done is, just like my main machine, I've taken Windows off this because we don't do Windows, and I've put on Pop! OS, which is basically Ubuntu. It's an open source operating system based, Unix based, much better. And I found, so I'm running up the OBS software on the right here, which is what I use for live broadcasting, and I've just set up this little test window, and I'm looking at the performance on the left here, and you'll see these 2 infrared lights at the top. And if you look at the screen, we've got on the left, this is the infrared picture, and on the right is the normal picture, which is quite cool. I had no idea that this had an infrared camera. The only problem I've got is, I don't know if you can pick this up, but it's flashing, and maybe you know how to change that either in OBS or on the actual EliteBook itself. But that's quite a cool feature. So the idea is this: I'm getting this machine ready to see if I can use it as a backup machine, or when I'm doing remote filming, for example, from the motorhome. Now, that's just a bit of fun. I just thought I'd share that with you. The main machine that I use is this one, and you can see down here it's actually quite a serious little beast. And we've got some other machines under there. There's the mic and everything. But yeah, in terms of news, there's obviously, it's been quite a busy period, and I was blessed to be able to go away to the Alps. Still did the live show, and if you watched episode, I think it was 43 and 44, yeah, there were a few hiccups. There were some good learning exercises, and I did actually fire off a survey, and quite a few people have filled that in about the live show, and I'll give you a quick sneak preview of that in a moment. But I just wanted to share this with you. So I'm not a huge reader, and there's a reason why I deliberately don't read a lot of books, because it's much better to be founded in your own experience and in your own realizations than to be chasing a lot of other people's ideas. Now, books can be inspirational, they can be motivational, and obviously as an author, I hope that people do get inspiration and motivation from the books that I write. Where I'm writing from is from direct personal experience. And as you know, the quote-unquote work I do, which I've got on my to-do list over there, I'm going to do some more tonight, is to very much go inside, go into state, and bring down information is probably the best way of putting it. But I wanted to talk about this a little bit, because there's 2 fundamental ways of getting information, and most probably 99.9% of all information is got the first way. So the first way is point-to-point inquiry. And by that I mean, so for example, I, Mark, I'm talking to you. So I'm a point and you're a point, and so there's an exchange of information. Now, if this was a 2-way thing, then you could be asking me questions. So that's the most normal way of getting information, an inquiry from one thing to another. Now, the other might be a person, or it might be a computer, the internet, but you're still a point inquiring of another point of information. And then there's a kind of, you can take that to the next order. So when people talk about remote viewing or astral projection or psychotelemetry, clairvoyancy, clairaudiency, that's still taking a point of awareness, even if it's less understood. So it's not your eyeballs, for example, or your ears, but it might be you, keeping things simple, your mind, projecting it to a remote place or a remote time or both to get information. So that's still taking a point of reference, a point of awareness, and focusing on another point of awareness. And you can keep going with that idea with things like scrying and things like that. But if you're fortunate enough to have the great state, so the state of enlightenment, which is beyond all limits and therefore beyond a point of identity, a point of awareness, then it's a completely different paradigm, because what you can do is from that very great state, being one thing everywhere, you can go into it with an inquiry of a point, but you're no longer a point yourself, focusing on another point. You are the great state which contains all points, all time, everything, all limits. And so that isn't so much a objective, point to point. In other words, from my point of reference, observing something else, I can have a certain understanding. That's more of a pure form of getting information, where it's from that absolute state of oneness, one thing everywhere, where there cannot really be deception, because it transcends that which would deceive. Then you can simply know. The skill, if you like, and this is where I've been working for many, many, many years, is in bringing what becomes known in that intangible, non-personality based state back down in a way that can be communicated. And that really is a bit like flexing a muscle. The more you do, the easier it gets. Doesn't mean it's a perfect process, but it's certainly a process that can be improved and learned. But it's state driven, so it's not just an intellectual thing. It's a state thing pointing at my heart. So the point is that I never used to read many books, but since I've started doing more and more quote unquote work, bringing down information, then I'm being guided, and I'm not being guided by the lords of light or archangels or anything. I'm talking about from the highest state to focus my attention on certain things. And one of the ways that things come to my attention is through TV, through conversations, through snippets online, but also through books. And so this is a good example of a book I was guided to, and it's the US Army Insider Missions, Dr. Michael Salla. And let me just show you. You might not see because my handwriting tends to be quite small, but I've been going through and making notes. There's one just there, but we went past it. So here's a good example where I just make little notes, and the notes in themselves are just, there's another one where I'm pointing out, so they're referring to certain races, and I'm talking about certain things. So you can see here I'm highlighting certain things and adding my own notes and observations. And what this is really, I'm respecting the fact that this is real people's experiences, and they're a point of focusing on something else, having an experience. What I'm doing is I'm bringing in my own understandings and observations from that greater state, and seeing where it tallies, or where there is maybe from the greater state a different understanding, a different interpretation. And so what I might do is I might put together a little video or a podcast or something discussing this. And it would be great to speak to Dr. Michael Salla or some of the people like JP about this. But, I doubt that they probably don't even know I exist. And, but from my perspective, I've got a different understanding of some of the stuff, and I'd be very open to a discussion if they wanted to, have that conversation. And now that book's finished, I was guided to another book, and this is the book that I came across. And the story behind how I came across this one was very random. I was walking home, and I just walked into the Oxfam shop on the high street where I live. Never gone in there. I probably walked past it 100 times, never gone in it. And I thought, well, what am I doing in here? Okay, and I looked up, and there was a bookshelf, so I did a quick scan, and this one jumped out just from the spine. And I thought, oh, interesting. So I saw the word Jesus, and it says Jesus, King Arthur and the Journey of the Grail, the Secrets of the Sun Kings. Now, I've got no idea why I was guided to this book. That's part of the fun. It's a bit like an adventure. So I will, and there's lots of pictures, which is good, lots of diagrams. So I'm going to go through this and see why I've been guided to this book. I haven't even read the first page yet. And it might come to nothing. It cost me what did it cost? £2.99. I mean, I'm happy to support Oxfam and charity shops anyway. So great place to find interesting books. So there we go. So that's the next little project. I'll be looking at that when I'm not doing the live show and all the other things. But talking of the live show, let me just share a little sneak preview of, let me, if I find the right thing. Yeah, so I did this survey, asking people like you, maybe you filled it in. What do you think of the live show? Do you want it? Would you rather it multiple times a week? Would you rather a longer show, a shorter show, one question per show, that kind of thing? Anyway, so I won't go into the analysis, but I just thought I'd share very quickly the summary of the results. So if you're very quick and you pause, you could probably figure things out. But really, I'm just giving you a sneak peek. If you want the full breakdown, then join me for episode 46 tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So here's hopefully you can see this okay. So here's some of the results that came in. And I'll be going through that episode 46 tomorrow. But the purpose of this video is just a bit of an informal chat. It's nice just to get to know you a bit better and to give you a little bit more of a behind the scenes. I'm just a guy, I was watching one of the more famous Rumblers doing their live show, and they were complaining because this woman was saying, "Oh, it's just me today. I don't have my producer. I'm on my own. I've got to do," and I'm thinking, that's what I have to do every week, So it is just me, and as you can see from the to-do list, it's varied work. Some of it's kind of sitting in front of the computer. I tend to only sit in this chair when I'm actually on the computer. When I'm doing work and reading, I like to be sat over there, or even better, I'll take the motorhome out somewhere nice if I've got a lot of reading to do, or I want to really get into some stillness and do some writing. I prefer to be away, just a change of scenery. It helps just get in the zone a bit and get out. I mean, I love this little office, but it's nice to get out as well. So anyway, that's it. It's Monday. What is it? It's the 22nd of January. It's not Monday, it's Wednesday. If you found this interesting, I will do more. But that's a message coming in, and I always answer my messages. So wherever you are, God bless you, and have a great rest of your day.